Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, I noticed something about the Democrats. They love to scream about cuts to Medicaid and other important government programs. And don't even get me started on their behavior when it came to Elon Musk's Doge initiative. They love playing the outrage game, but for some odd reason, they never actually want to talk about where the money is really going. You know, they'll talk a big game about corporate greed, a broken system that doesn't serve the needy and the most vulnerable in society. But then once it's time to, actually audit the system, take a look at corporate greed, crony capitalism, government lobbying, when it's time to actually solve the problem, they're never at the frickin' table. They don't even want to have the conversation. No, their solution to all of these problems is to throw more tax dollars at it. And that's why they freak out anytime anybody mentions the word cut. C-U-T is like the scariest word to any Democrat. And it's just this point of extreme hypocrisy. They admit that the system is broken and rigged and doesn't work well. It's catered to the rich. But then they want to continue to feed that beast. Their solution to a bloated, corrupt system is to continue subsidizing said bloated, corrupt system. Make it frickin' make sense. Well, obviously, it doesn't. There's clearly some corrupt ulterior motives here. But honestly, the craziest part is that there only seems to be one politician, one person who's actually interested in solving the root cause of these issues, and it's the man that they tell us is an evil orange man. It's the orange man bad. Yeah, funny how that one works out, and maybe there's also another corrupt ulterior motive as to why they try so hard to get in his way. It's probably because he's the only politician actually working on common sense policies and ideas. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, remember all the promises from Joe Biden about making prescription costs more affordable? Then of course they just piggybacked off a Trump-era policy attempting to reduce the price of insulin, but didn't really do anything that effective. But anyways, there was all this Democrat talk about reducing drug prices, but was there any actual action? The answer is unequivocally no. Meanwhile, this president...
This is to the CEO of Eli Lilly from the President of the United States. On May 12, 2025, I signed an executive order delivering most favored nation prescription drug pricing to American patients to stop global freeloading and guarantee that Americans pay the same prices enjoyed by other developed nations. Right now, brand name drugs in the United States are up to 3 times higher on average than anywhere else for the identical medicines. This unacceptable burden on hardworking American families ends with my administration. Most proposals the Trump administration has received to resolve this critical issue promised more of the same, shifting blame and requesting policy changes that would result in billions of dollars in handouts to industry. Moving forward, the only thing I will accept from drug manufacturers is a commitment that provides American families immediate relief from the vastly inflated drug prices and an end to the free ride of American innovation by European and other developed nations. Accordingly, I'm calling on Eli Lilly and Company and every manufacturer doing business in our great country to take the following actions within the next 60 days. Extend the most favored nation pricing to Medicaid, guarantee most favored nation pricing for newly launched drugs, return increased revenues abroad to American patients and taxpayers, provide for direct purchasing at most favored nation pricing. The president expects to further engage with them immediately in good faith to deliver relief for American families. A collaborative effort towards achieving global pricing parity would be the most effective path for companies, the government, and American patients. But if you refuse to step up, we will deploy every tool in our arsenal to protect American families from continued abusive drug pricing practices. I look forward to your binding commitments to each of these goals by September 29th, 2025, and my team stands ready to assist with implementation questions. Thank you for your immediate attention to this vital national priority. Signed, President Donald J. Trump.
President Trump is laying down the law, and he's saying that if Big Pharma does not comply, they'll deploy every tool to stop abusive pricing. He's giving them a deadline of September 29th, and the message could not be clearer. No more corporate freeloading. The American consumer seems to be footing the bill for global medical innovation, paying astronomically high prices for drugs, the justification being R&D costs. But what it really is price gouging. And they're allowed to do it because the entire system allows them to charge whatever the frick they want. The insurance companies are in on it. They're certainly not going to put up a fight. No, once again, the only person who's putting up a fight for what is right is President Donald J. Trump. And he's not coming in with communist-style price controls. No, he's simply saying if you're selling the drug for X amount of dollars across the world, I mean, that's the free market price, then why are Americans paying 2, 3, 5x that cost for absolutely no reason? You want to include an R&D premium? Then I don't know, maybe include a small premium and apply it to worldwide drug prices. Enough gouging the American consumer. And you know, it's funny because Democrats love the whole notion of price gouging, right? Back when they could use that as an excuse to blame corporate greed for their policy failures, which caused an inflationary crisis. But now we have the president actually tackling a real, genuine issue of price gouging, and somehow he's the bad guy. No, again, he's the only one doing anything. He's coming in and trying to fix the problems, just like he was doing with Doge, attempting to come in, cut all the NGO scams, modernize the system so that it works better, so that it's easier to audit, and Democrats threw a tantrum, and now he's doing the exact same thing, but with the healthcare system, announcing the launch of a full-scale modernization effort, a digital health tech ecosystem.
Today we are making American health technology remarkably great again.
We're officially launching the CMS digital health tech ecosystem to give healthcare providers, insurers, and software companies the tools they need to empower Americans with a 21st century experience on health.
We're opening up the playing field so that the best tools can scale, compete on value, and discover new methods for making Americans healthy again.
Doctors and patients will always remain in control. We will save time, we will save money, and most importantly, we'll save lives.
President Trump, you've asked us to think big. You've inspired us to dream big. And with your leadership, we're going to make America healthy again.
He's targeting the problems with the healthcare system to make it run better, to make it more affordable. Things that probably should have been done a long time ago, but somehow he's the bad guy. And you know, it's got me thinking, where have the Democrats been on all of these issues? You know, they're such freaking hypocrites. They talk a big game, but they're the biggest enablers of corruption in the game. They're loud, they're dramatic, but most glaringly, they're completely freaking useless when it comes to actually solving anything. They want to protect the vulnerable. They want healthcare to be accessible and affordable. Yet all they do is protect a broken system that funnels billions into the pockets of insurance executives, nonprofit scammers, and unelected bureaucrats. They've had decades to fix these problems, and they've done nothing. No, their only solution is more subsidies, more taxpayer money, more of your money going to subsidize the corrupt racket, more fraud, more red tape, and most importantly, more frickin' excuses. And one thing I think is becoming very obvious here, they don't want solutions because they are part of the problem. They're essentially the middlemen for a corrupt machine that thrives on dysfunction. And of course, any attempt to reform it, any attempt to come in and actually solve the problem, well, it's met with hysteria and fear-mongering. In other words, the freakish response to Donald Trump jumping in on the political scene, they don't want him messing with their numerous rackets. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.